know how to operate. I'd be at home and he on his way home from the studio and I'm up in the room. I'm posted up. I'm sexy. I'm cute. And I'm thinking he gonna come up going, hey, E.
Nothing.
The door open. Okay. Maybe he got something to drink. And okay, he went in the kitchen first. Okay, that's fine. I'm still waiting. I'm posted up. And then I hear the TV come on. Okay, maybe you want to check sports. The video game. The video game first?
What game?
I don't know. Madden, something.
Yes,
I don't know.
Come on. Hey, listen, to those of you who don't understand his gripe, it's something that happens with men when we at that age. Sorry.
We got married. He was 25. I was 28.
Yes, Lord.
So we're young, right?
Oh, so you're
but I didn't know. Yeah, I'm 3 years older than him. And I had been in serious relationships.
Go ahead.
A little bit.
Go ahead.
He was my third ring. So I had been engaged twice. Yeah.
Did you say yes to any of those guys or no?
All right. So, video games, man. Wife laid up. She done put in effort for you to be ready. You know what I'm saying? You get off and guys are choosing. What's y'all initial reaction to the video?
Shout out to Erica from Mary and Willie Mo Jr. Podcast. I think the context, I've actually seen that whole exchange, but I think the context was that they were young and she had expectations of how he should or how she thought a wife would be presenting herself, and she was expecting a reaction from him behind it. And he chose to prioritize a video game, which I think is not as taboo as it once was. It's like a real thing. I just think it's awareness. I think you have to have as a man for your wife and a certain appreciation for the things that she does. Because maybe the younger Lewis would have probably did something similar. Maybe not the video games, or probably would have did something else and maybe not paid enough attention. But I think that's more along the lines of where we kind of miss it sometimes. I know myself, I would have done it at that age.
All right. Brittany, what's your thought?
It's a hard no for me. This kind of, and it might not be the same thing, but it's borderline. Like, we talked about this before in terms of women and feeling rejection, because I felt like she could have leaned into that almost a little bit, because she said she did go out of her way. She said she tooted it up twice, and homie was still mad, and football is life, right? So that can kind of put a damper on things where it's like, yo, I'm never trying this again. And then you guys have a conversation of, babe, you don't initiate, babe, you don't, and this is me just kind of foreseeing things futuristically, and what I got off the video, but I don't know. I never dated a gamer. I don't know about the gamer life. I understand that it's really real for some people, and they do choose to game versus other things. It just comes down to the dynamic of their relationship. And I agree with Lewis in terms of awareness and understanding your partner and what that looks like.
So is it about him choosing the game or the fact that, may I?
Yeah.
So you said go out your way to present the sexiness to get him to come in, right? Mm-hmm. So it sounded like a task or a duty. Mm-hmm. Just say that real quick. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, is it because you felt like you went out your way and he chose something else, or is it just the fact that he chose over the interaction will matter more? Or is it the fact that I put my energy here, it didn't get I went above and beyond to show you that I was ready and you chose something else? Or is it what you're choosing that makes it worse?
A little bit of both. And let's be clear. I don't think it's a duty, but I think it's a duty at the same time, because I do feel like there's certain boxes you have to check as a wife or as a husband. And if you're trying to elevate your levels of intimacy in any type of way, and let's say that's the first time she's ever tried something like that, and he was playing the game, yo, you should have dropped that remote controller for all of those however many minutes, hours y'all got going on, and picked it back up later. I just feel like whoever's initiating, and it's the shoes on both feet, but usually normally men initiate differently or more, I would say, in terms of not getting dressed sexy and walk, whatever it is. right? And at that young, tender age, I don't feel like, I feel like she was overlooked. And I don't agree with that.
Louis, you had something?
Brittany used the word initiate twice. How does she initiate it?
Let me say this correctly. If I intentionally get dressed, she said, I mean, maybe we need to play it again. She like tooted it up, tried to get his attention. To me, that signals like the only thing left for me to do is hop on top of you to fully initiate or engage in some sort of something. So if I'm sending off some sort of something, right, that will lead us, then if I'm dressed a certain way or not dressed, birthday suit, whatever, and I'm doing certain things or saying certain things, I'm putting myself in a place of initiation of, hey, okay, here I am. All you have to do is now take me. And you're choosing to play football. I feel like that's enough initiation for me to read it that way.
Louis, do you not feel like that's initiation?
Nope.
Further explain, brother.
I think if you are trying to initiate attention, then that's what you could get. But if you're trying to initiate sex, then I don't think that those are cues. I don't think those are cues that initiate sex. Yeah, I think physically, because it's a physical act, and my thought process is you are going to do something physically to initiate that act because it's a physical situation. So, I learned from one of my friends about that process and how you got to warm women up. So they're the way that they look at it is a lot different than what we as men look at it as. So I get what you're saying, Brittany, and I empathize with that, but I don't think that, I don't think I think she was looking for a certain type of attention that maybe would have led to it, but I don't look at that as initiating the actual act. I never would have picked that up. I think she was looking for attention or acknowledgement.
Marcus Sale said he don't like sex with her. It's deeper than the game. Game's got a pause button.
So can I to that, right? I do want to say like a couple of things. My biggest thing was actually the fact that he came home, because the way she described it, he came home. She was already in the room, right? He came home. He didn't even look for her in the house. He didn't acknowledge her at all to even know that she was in whatever suit she had on, you know what I'm saying, or outfit or whatever. But he went straight to the game. For me, it's more of like if we've been apart from the day, and if we were like maybe newer in the marriage, why are you not saying, "Babe, I'm home"? Like what, like even to acknowledge that you're home now, right? Like for me, it's like it will be, the conversation would also be a little bit different if he was like, "Hey, babe," they saw each other, you know what I'm saying? And then she was like, "Oh, okay, let me put this on real quick." You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, because like, did he even know that she was upstairs, like trying to woo him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that he did because he got right on the game. She never said once that he even acknowledged that she was there. Period. That's to that point. And I think to Lewis's point, I think that the way maybe that men think about initiating might be different than for women, right? Because if, even to your point around like the way that like for the woman there's like the warm up, right? If you will. I think that sometimes the initiating is like I'm initiating the warm up, which is going to lead to the thing. So the initiation is not like the second round of initiation, if you will, right? To lose, which is your point, which is the actual act. But I think to warm up to that, it is like I am going to put on this lingerie, or I am going to, you know, do XYZ to kind of get you knowing that I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? So I
Okay.
think it could be two types of initiations.
Okay, I give you that. I this is what I'll say to the scenario without the full context of, who gets home first, what's typically the process, right? Like, I think a lot of times that's probably not norm for her to be like that, right? So already when I'm getting home, I'm not even thinking about that because that's not how it typically goes, right? Furthermore, I'm gonna just be real. I just hate this notion of like, oh, I did it and you ain't jumped. Oh no, I ain't doing that no more. Like, there's so many other factors than like. I'm gonna be real. My experience is when people just get home from a stressed out day, depending on if you got kids or how you do, that ain't like, bro, that ain't. Some people decompress before they mind even ready to accept any type of input. But like this notion, God, I'm gonna get crucified. This notion that like because a woman initiated and felt rejection, it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that no more. No, like, you know how many times we had to do something and figure it out and keep stabbing at it? But like you tooted up twice in one night and now it's all over with because I ain't know. I'm just saying, like, that is tough. Like, so now you're gonna stop forever.
I didn't say forever.
but your feelings will be hurt though, right? You will feel away though, right? How many times have you rolled like, nah, I'm good tonight and rolled over and went to sleep? Not literally you, but I'm saying in general. You get what I'm saying? All those rejections don't matter because it's context to your tiredness. But you went the full 9 yards, and it may have been amazing. At the time, I ain't choosing no video game. I used to be heavy into video games. That's not me, but it was your first time, and we don't usually do that. So, can I get some grace for the shock value?
After the fact. I think after the fact,
right.
no, I'm just being real because in the moment, the same way that you're saying like that he might not be even thinking about that at all because this is something that she has never done before. That in my mind, that means that she really like she was putting in
Went
some
out.
effort. Like she was like, let me try something that I had never tried before, that I've been too shy to try, that he's been saying that I don't do, XYZ. Let me try. And then if it's not acknowledged, yes, my feelings would be hurt. I would be like, I would probably say, I'm never doing that again until I have a conversation. And then it's like, hey, I had a long day. Da da da. You never do this. I wasn't expecting this to be the day. Then I'll still be a little salty about it, but I'm not going to be like, all right, I'm never doing that again. But in the moment, yes, my feelings are very much hurt if I
So,
tried something that I never tried before.
Asia, I'm gonna say that's valid only if he communicated that's the way he would want you to initiate when he came home before that happened. For you to try something like blindly and then hold me responsible for my reaction, and you don't even know if I like that, you just trying stuff. That's crazy.
I think that's unfair though. I think that's unfair.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair to say that, Kenny, because I mean, you can't communicate all that with spontaneity. Being spontaneous.
That's a tough one, bro. It's a tough one. I ain't gonna repeat it.
Yeah. So being spontaneous.
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity. Yeah. Being spontaneous, I think is cool, right? Like I think like we've now set a standard to where we got to communicate everything all the time. But sometimes you don't know if you like something until somebody does it for you. Right. So I think it's unfair to try to set expectations for everything, especially sex sometimes. I think some of the best experiences come from it just happening. And someone just trying something, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's unfair. But what I will say is the amount of humility it takes for someone to put themselves out there, especially to a spouse, and to be rejected, even if it's spontaneous or not, right? The amount of humility it takes and to be rejected, like that is you're going to feel some type of way, that's going to take a hit to your ego and none of us like rejection. Like you tell me someone that likes rejection, I'll show you a liar. None of us like rejection. And we've all dealt with it in some capacity. And then to be rejected by the spouse, right? Indirectly or directly, that's a whole nother level of hurt, and a rebuilding process. So I get what you're saying, Keenan, and I think it's fair. And I think it takes a certain level of maturity to be able to handle that. But at the same time, I do understand anyone's perspective. I'm not going to categorize it to a man or a woman. Anyone's perspective of putting themselves out there and it not, going as expected.
So, Lewis, I don't disagree, but let me clarify what I'm saying, bro. I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is the same way when we're being spontaneous, like the same way you're jumping out there, can I get the grace for my reaction that I would give you for you trying to be spontaneous? Is the point I'm making. Like you try, I don't want your feelings to be hurt based off my reaction when we both want you try something and I wasn't ready for it. So grace on both ends from there is what I'm saying. Because Asia was like, my feelings would be hurt. Like if that happened in real time, my feelings would be hurt. And what I'm saying is, unless you knew for a fact I told you this, don't take it as rejection because I didn't know.
That's fair.
What I'm saying.
That's fair.
Like, because it ain't like I said, like, yeah, babe, one day just have it tuned up when you know what I'm saying? And then you do it. I'm like, hey, man, hold on. I'm about to get on Madden real quick. I'll be right here. Stay just like that. And then I go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the initiation I'm looking for.
As soon as Lewis did this with his fingers, I knew he was about to say something.
Yeah. All right, any more thoughts on the video games over sex?
Nah, that's wild. He should have acknowledged his wife. That's all I'm gonna say.
He didn't know.
That's the problem, Keenan. When he got home, he should have said, "Hey, babe, I'm home. Let me give you a kiss because I ain't seen you all day." That's
If you give her a kiss and she in that position and you go downstairs, you in even more trouble.
That's a fact.
Best believe that. All right, so this next